Here's the truth no one told you. Real humility is having an accurate perception of yourself. Not too high, not too low. We don't want to be too full of ourselves, but it's also not going to help us expand the kingdom and do what God calls us to do if all day long we're obsessed and we think we're a worm, right? Real humility is an accurate view of yourself. Let's dive in. Welcome back. Okay, let's start with the truth we don't hear enough in the church. I believe that a lot of us have grown up believing something that's not true, that humility means hiding. Thinking bigger isn't prideful, it's actually faithful. Wanting more, dreaming bigger, stepping into new territory, that's not you getting too big for your britches. That's you saying yes to what God already put inside of you. And even if it is too big for your britches, girl, it is time for bigger britches. Here's the deal. Playing small doesn't honor God. Stewarding your gifts fully does. So today we're blowing the lid off small thinking. We're going to go after those dreams tucked deep inside your heart. You know the ones you almost feel guilty for wanting, the ones that are a little too shiny, a little too bold, a little too, who do I think I am? Those. Well, I'll tell you now, you are a daughter of the King. And let me tell you something. He is not glorified when you dim the light he placed in you. Not one bit. If you have read my book, Standing Strong, the whole book is about this. This is a book written to women who have this feeling in their heart that there is something that they want to go for, but they're a little nervous or they're not feeling confident or adversity slowed you down. If you've read Standing Strong, all of this will make you clap up in the air. If you listen to this show today and it resonates, I want you to go get Standing Strong. You can listen to it on Audible. It is me reading it to you. Or get the book. I think you will really love it and be blessed by it. I remember the first time someone said, Allie, you're thinking too small. And I remember getting mad about it. Like, who do you think you are to tell me that? That kind of mad. Not because they were wrong, because deep down I knew they were right. And don't we hate that? Isn't that the worst? Especially when it's my husband who tells me something. I can't hear anything from him at first. It's not what he says. I think it's his tone. But unfortunately, that's just his voice. But I digress. In this case, I had been playing it safe for a long time, taking on projects I knew I could handle, dreaming dreams that didn't stretch me too much, keeping everything within arm's reach, neat and tidy, manageable. Every time I said, not yet, I told myself I was being wise, but really I was abandoning myself. That's not wisdom. That is fear in a Sunday dress. And you know what I'm talking about. That life where nothing is too scary because nothing is too extraordinary. Because somewhere deep inside, I believe the lie. If I dream too big, I'm being prideful. If I want more, it's selfish. That is the lie that has killed a million dreams for women. Let's call it what it is. That is self-gaslighting. You keep pretending that your dreams don't matter, that they're too much, too selfish, too late. But you know what that really is? It's avoidance. False humility is just fear wearing a name tag that says nice Christian girl. Here's what finally shifted for me. I realized small thinking didn't serve anybody. Not the people I am called to love, not my family, not the women who need what I can offer and what only I can offer, and certainly not God. He didn't give me talents and dreams just so I could be humble by hiding them under a bushel of false modesty. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself rightly, as someone entrusted to shine their light to the world, as someone with gifts that matter. And friend, the same goes for you. Those dreams you've been tamping down, they're not accidents, they're assignments. I want you to listen to me. I have seen this play out time and time again. One of my coaching clients used to say, I'm just a stay-home mom with an idea. She had no business background, no followers, no funding, and now she's running a 6-figure nonprofit that is changing women's lives, not because she pushed, but because she stopped hiding. So let's talk about what you need to know about this. The most important thing, I want you to identify your hidden fears. Most small thinking is fear just in disguise. Fear of failure. Fear of failure can look like, what if I try and I flop? Or fear of judgment. What will the church ladies think? Right? Will I be kicked off the prayer chain? I don't know if there's prayer chains anymore, but I thought it was funny. Maybe it's a fear of success. And yeah, that's a real thing. What if I actually pull this off and then I have to keep showing up? Research shows that our brains are wired to seek safety over success. We are wired not to stand out. We are wired to go, oh, this over here, this is fine. I don't need to risk putting my neck out there and standing out. Now, that's helpful when you're being chased by a bear, not standing out. Less helpful when you're trying to launch a podcast or a ministry or apply for a job that scares you. So if you feel stuck dreaming small, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain is doing what it's wired to do. It is wired to protect you. Your brain's like, hey, girl, listen, let's just keep things comfortable around here. We don't need to stick our neck out. But here's the truth. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Amen? You have permission to outgrow old fears. You have permission to dream bigger than your comfort zone. You have permission to make your brain very, very uncomfortable while your spirit soars. Second key, I want you to shift from outcome thinking to identity thinking. We've been talking a lot about identity thinking in this series. This is a game changer that transformed how I approach, everything really. Don't just think about what you want to do. Don't just think about what you want to achieve. Think about who you're becoming. In Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about identity-based change. It's not about checking boxes on your to-do list. It's about becoming the kind of person who does those things naturally. So you're not just chasing success or significance or whatever buzzword is floating around conferences this year. You're practicing becoming a woman who lives boldly, who loves deeply, and leads faithfully. So when you think in terms of identity, the fear of getting it wrong loses its grip because you're not proving anything. You're practicing becoming. And honestly, we are all works in progress around here. None of us have this nailed. If you saw my email inbox right now, you would feel better immediately. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to write your identity statement on a sticky note. Put it on your mirror. Make it your phone background. Say it out loud like you mean it, even when it feels weird, because it will feel weird at the beginning. Because your brain believes what you repeat, and you're building a new belief system. Third key, I want you to make room for God-sized dreams. You know what's scarier than failing? Succeeding at something that wasn't even your calling. Let that sink in for a minute. Too often we set goals based on what feels doable, not what feels God-breathed. We aim for what seems reasonable instead of what makes our heart beat faster. A God-sized dream is one that's a little too big for you to pull off alone. My friend Bob Goff says, if your dream doesn't scare you a little, it's probably too small. And I'll take it a step further. If your dream doesn't make you laugh nervously and say, well, that's ridiculous, you might be playing in the kiddie pool when God's called you to the ocean. If your dream doesn't make you say, I'd need 3 clones and an energy drink and a miracle, you're probably dreaming too small. That is what happened to me with the app. I did not want to build this app. God gave me the idea. I put it on the shelf. And one day during church, a few months later, I was prompted by the pastor, and he prompted us to I don't even remember what the prompt was, but all I remember is I asked God, what am I disobeying you about? And he said in my spirit, clear as day, I told you to build it. And you know how he will give you all the context? And I knew he was talking about the app, and I knew I had to go build it. And it was ridiculous and silly, and I was embarrassed even telling anybody about it because how was I going to learn how to build an app, and where was I going to get the money from, and what do I know about building an app? And this is crazy, right? This is insane. But the dreams God plants in your heart aren't designed to inflate our egos. They're not there just to make us feel good or just to make us feel small. They're designed to expand your faith, to make you more dependent on Him than you've ever been before. So the question isn't, can I do this? That was the question I was asking, and it was the wrong question. The right question is God inviting me to trust Him here? And boy, was He ever in my life. And between you and me, the answer is almost always yes. I want you to hear me on this. Wanting more isn't prideful when your heart is surrendered. God isn't asking you to achieve big things to earn his approval. He's inviting you to steward what he's placed in you faithfully and boldly. And maybe the most faithful thing you could do right now is to stop hiding those dreams and to start taking them seriously. So I want to give you some practical steps. Step one, I want you to write out a bold identity statement. I want you to finish this sentence. I am a woman who something. Make it bold, make it specific, make it just a little uncomfortable. So for me, I am a woman who builds an app. That's crazy. That is bananas. Well, that's wild. Here's more examples. I'm a woman who dreams boldly and acts faithfully. I am a woman who builds businesses that change lives. I am a woman who creates art that makes people remember what matters. Now, here's the key. Speak it over yourself daily. In the mirror while you're brushing your teeth, have it on a Post-it note. In the car while you're driving, I want you to say it over yourself over and over again. When you're folding that mountain of laundry that may or may not contain socks from 2019, I'm not judging. Let it rewire your identity from the inside out. I am a woman who you fill in the blank. Step number 2. I want you to create a 2-minute daily courage practice. Small, faithful steps lead to lasting transformation. So pick one 2-minute action that stretches you a tiny bit outside your comfort zone. I want you to send the email to that person you've been too intimidated to reach out to. Post the idea you've been sitting on because who am I to say this? Make the call you've been avoiding. Apply for the thing that you think you're not qualified for. Courage really is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You just got to get your reps in. And some of us haven't been working out for a few administrations. Now, if you're serious about this, I want you to give yourself a 7-day challenge. 7 days. One bold action per day. No excuses. No waiting on Monday. If you don't feel more alive by next week, you get your money back. Every last bit. Okay, let's talk about recommendations. So this is an easy one. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this little amber colored bottle. I bought this bottle on Amazon. It is full of a liquid. I'm spraying it on my face. What is this? This is glycerin in water. So this is my new favorite skincare and beauty product. Super inexpensive. I bought glycerin on Amazon and I bought this little bottle on Amazon. So let me tell you about the wonders of glycerin. Glycerin is a powerful humectant that pulls moisture into the skin and seals it in. It makes it ideal for a smooth, hydrated base under your makeup. So everyone's talking about hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is in everything, which is great. But the issue is it can draw water from deeper layers of the skin in dry environments outside. So say it's dry and you put hyaluronic acid on your face, it is going to be even drier. Glycerin will hold moisture at the surface, giving it a really dewy, plump look without the risk of dryness. It also helps makeup apply more evenly and keeps it in place longer. So I put glycerin and water, a couple sprays on before I put on makeup, and then I put it on over makeup too, which is amazing. It's so inexpensive. It lasts forever. The bigger bottle of glycerin I have will probably last me a year. So to make your own mix, you can mix 1 part glycerin to 3 parts distilled water in a little glass spray bottle like this. This 1-to-3 ratio is great for normal to dry skin. It'll hydrate your skin without feeling sticky. But if your skin is very dry, you can try a 1-to-2 ratio. So 1 part glycerin to 2 parts water. If you're oily or acne prone, you're going to want to go lighter. Try 1 part glycerin to 4 or 5 parts water to avoid clogged pores. So shake it before each use, and then you spritz it on. And it's super inexpensive and amazing glowy skin. I'm all for expensive skin treatments. I'm all for all the skin treatments. But when you get one that works this well and it's so inexpensive, I had to tell you about it. Something else I have to tell you that I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you for listening to this whole episode or watching this whole episode. This is important. This stuff matters. This message that God has more for you, that He has a calling for your life, and that feeling inside of you is something to be taken seriously is a big deal. And the fact that you're still here means you feel it and you get it and you know it, and you are who I make this show for. You're ready to go bigger. you're ready to follow the calling. If I could sit down next to you, you could have coffee, I could have decaf green tea, we would talk all about it. And I can't be there with you one on one, but I can make this show for you. And every week go, what do I need to make for her? How do I help her live into her calling? How do I help her thrive? How do I make sure the next half of her life is going to be as amazing as the first half of her life? That's why I do what I do. And that's why I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you. It is my joy to get to coach you. It's my joy to cheer you on and remind you that with God, you have what it takes. So keep stepping up, keep showing up and loving well, because you can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day. Keep standing strong, and I'll be back with you soon. Step in and no.